What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of the World of Sports podcast. I'm your host, Deegs. Today we're going to be talking about some big basketball news that just dropped. If you didn't hear, kind of the whole basketball world's going crazy about this. The Los Angeles Clippers have agreed to trade all-star power forward Blake Griffin to the Detroit Pistons in exchange for Tobias Harris, Avery Bradley, Boban Marjanovic, a first-round pick in 2018 and a second-round pick in 2019. Kind of a big deal because, Blake just signed a 5-year, $171 million contract with LA. But we're going to kind of look at both sides, break the trade down, and then see what the bigger meaning of this trade actually is. So looking at the Pistons side, what they get in return, obviously they get an all-star, a legit top 25 player, a franchise player in Blake Griffin. They also did get Willie Reed, a good defensive center. He's really big, 7 foot plus, rebounds well. Played for the Heat last year, played good minutes for the Heat actually. They got a young, athletic forward in Bryce Johnson. Not really sure how Johnson will fit in for that team. The big thing for the Pistons will obviously be how Blake Griffin can play with Andre Drummond. They did just lose their leading scorer in Tobias Harris, who's averaging 18 points per game, but Drummond is their franchise player, and Griffin and Drummond can't play well together because, although Andre Drummond is really big, he's athletic, so I kind of see him as more of a hang around the basket, get offensive rebounds, get putbacks and stuff like that. Blake, you got a guy who's got a jumper, he can hit that three ball occasionally. He's an athletic freak, so they might pair well together. Then it's Reggie Jackson. Can Reggie Jackson stay healthy? Can he be that a 17-plus point scorer that we've seen him be in the past? I do think them trading away Tobias Harris and Avery Bradley will open up opportunities for Luke Kennard to start at shooting guard and potentially Stanley Johnson as well. So that gives them kind of an athletic small forward and a really good shooter at their two-guard position. I do think that in this offseason, the biggest thing, since they did lose their their first-round pick for this year, which is probably going to be a lottery pick on the way that they're going, they will have to go out and sign a small forward that can knock the three ball down and potentially a backup point guard that can also shoot, because putting shooters around Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond will be kind of really important for them. They should be a team that either bangs down low, and if they can't bang down low, they kick it out for a bunch of three-point shots. But I think the Pistons will turn things around. They've been on like a 9-game losing streak. If Blake can stay healthy, Drummond stays healthy, they gel well together, and Reggie Jackson stays healthy, you're looking at a team that might make a run at an 8 seed, but probably not. Will still finish out, but that's okay. This year's kind of lost for them. They're not making the playoffs, and if they do make the playoffs, they're not going to have that big of an impact because they're not going to be able to shake off one of the top 3-4 teams in the East. So look for next year, get Kennard some minutes, develop him, see what you have in Stanley Johnson. If not, move on. Maybe trade up in the draft with Stanley Johnson to get a first-round pick in kind of the later rounds, or the later picks, I should say, or go out and sign a free agent that can knock a three ball down and play some defense for you. Now, if you look at what the Clippers got, they got Tobias Harris, an 18-point-per-game scorer, Avery Bradley, one of the best two-way players in the league, great defender, all NBA defensive type of defender who can knock that three ball down, great two-way player. Boban Marjanovic, really big. I think he's like 7'1", 7'2", prospect, raw project. We'll get some minutes for this team, so we'll be able to see what they have going on there. A first-round pick, the Pistons' first-round pick for this year, which, like I said earlier, could potentially be a lottery pick, and then the second-round pick for next year's draft. Big things about them. Tobias Harris gives them that scoring small forward they never really had, that they've always been looking for. Try with Danilo Gallinari, didn't really work out. He's been injured. Avery Bradley, 27 years old, on an expiring contract. I don't think it would be a bad thing for them to re-sign him. He will be expensive, so if they are trying to clear cap and build for the future, then again, you let Bradley walk, clear his $13 million he's making now, see what you can get from him. If not, you re-sign him and you extend him and you get him to be kind of your franchise player and build around him. Look at the players on their active roster. Lou Williams, DeAndre Jordan. I think Tobias Harris and Bradley will fit in well with them, and if Gallinari can stay healthy, kind of a starting five of Williams, Bradley, Harris, Gallinari, and Jordan, I still think could make them a playoff team, if not make them a better team. So I do think the Clippers benefited slightly more than the Pistons did in this trade. But with this overall league meeting about the Clippers doing this is, for weeks and weeks we've been hearing about Lou Williams and DeAndre Jordan in trade rumors, and the fact that they just traded away their franchise player in Blake Griffin means that they're about to enter a full-blown rebuild. They want to get rid of everybody. They want to acquire young players and get draft picks. You see they get Avery Bradley, they get Boban, they get a first-round pick. So I would expect to see DeAndre Jordan and Lou Williams traded here shortly. Big teams that should be paying attention to that is the Cavs. They will have to give up that Brooklyn pick, but I think there's a possibility where they could package maybe Tristan Thompson, Chetty Osman, and that Brooklyn pick and go out and get DeAndre and Lou Williams and give them a shot blocker and some firepower off the bench. But look for the Clippers to be active. They're going to try and go young. They're going to try and get a bunch of draft picks. But yeah, big blockbuster trade to happen in the NBA. I'm kind of excited to see how this works out in Detroit and also how the Clippers, who I think might have actually gotten better with this trade, will be. So thanks for watching. Drop a like, subscribe, comment, and thanks. Have a good one.